Next up here at 7 o'clock on Action 11 News, a Northern Kentucky jury considers the fate of Mel Ignato, charged with murder and sexual abuse here in Jefferson County.
For most of this Saturday session, it was closing arguments by the defense and prosecution. We'll have a live report from Covington. And back here in town, police investigate the mysterious death of a man.
She told the world about Iraqi crimes before the war, and now Debbie Hottie is back in Louisville. Plus, it's a hot auction for hot items. We'll explain. Stay with us. Action 11 News at 7 is next.
I hate my life. Every day I look at millions of fresh roasted coffee beans to find the few that are good enough for John Conti.
Every cup of John Conti gourmet coffee delivers the rich taste of the world's finest coffee beans. Every cup.
Picky, picky, picky. But you're lucky. All you have to do is just drink it.
Ask for John Conti coffee by name. It's the best coffee in town.
Every Christmas, there are special presents that evoke a reaction wonderful to behold. Treasured gifts that express your love and reflect your thoughtfulness beyond any words. Dazzling creations, or simple, elegant pieces that capture the sparkle and the spirit of the holiday season. This Christmas, make it a gift of exquisite jewelry from Lemon & Son Jewelers for those precious memories that last a lifetime. Lemon & Son Jewelers, 570 4th Avenue.
This is your 24-hour news station, WHAS-TV, Louisville. Now, from WHAS-TV, this is Action 11 News, Saturday edition.
Good evening. I'm Donna Lacey.
And I'm Doug Prophet. Rachel Platt has the night off. The jury in the murder case of Mel Ignato now has the Louisville man's fate in its hands. Closing arguments lasted for most of this day, and we are now waiting for a verdict.
Action 11's Lawrence Smith is also standing by live in Covington, Kentucky with SATCAM. He brings us the latest on what is turning out to be a lengthy day. Lawrence?
A lengthy day indeed, Donna. The jury's been deliberating about 3.5 hours now. That's after hearing almost 5 hours of closing arguments, most of that by defense attorney Charles Raque. As you might expect, both defense and prosecution are presenting vastly different versions of this case. Now it's up to the jurors to decide which version they believe. In an exhaustive 3-hour and 45-minute closing argument, defense lawyer Charles Ricketts tried to pick apart the prosecution's case. Using terms like illogical and inconsistent, Ricketts pointed out what he called 51 reasonable doubts, 51 reasons why Mel Ignato should go free. Instead, Ricketts tried to pin the murder on the prosecution's star witness, Mary Ann Shore-Inlow, calling her a murderous liar who killed Brenda Sue Schaefer out of jealousy.
She was strong enough to do it, and she was mean enough to do it, and she lied well enough to cover it up. And if I can't have Mel Ignato, says Mary Ann Shore, nobody's going to have Mel Ignato. He'll go to hell first. Hell knoweth no fury like that of a woman scorned.
But Commonwealth's attorney Ernie Jasmine quickly went on the attack. In his hour-long summation, he accused Ricketts of trying to distort the truth, of using smoke screens to try and hide Ignato's guilt.
And what you're supposed to be doing is looking at the credible and believable evidence actually presented in this courtroom. And that credible and believable evidence, in fact, he hanged himself. Finally, all of it points to one individual, Henry Miller Ignato.
Now, this trial's been going on for about 3 weeks now, and it's clear that Judge Martin Johnstone would like to get this wrapped up this weekend. So if jurors don't come to a decision tonight, it's likely he'll bring them back tomorrow. Live in Covington, Lawrence Smith with SATCAM for Action 11 News.
Lawrence, one quick question. 3-hour closing arguments, an awfully long time. You were in there watching the jurors. How did they react to that? What were they doing? Do you think that made a difference in the end here?
Almost 4 hours, Doug, and that's an interesting question. The jurors clearly began to get fidgety and began to lose their attention after the second hour or so. In fact, it went so long that Judge Johnstone called a lunch break before Ricketts could finish, and he came back and gave his last half hour to 45 minutes. So we'll see what happens, what effect it had. Back to you.
One other thing. Do you have any indication if this decision will come down tonight?
It's impossible to say. I think most people here believe that it will happen sometime tonight, and I think Judge Johnstone's prepared to leave the jury here as long as they can go tonight.
Okay, thank you very much, Lawrence.
Thank you, Lawrence. Well, Louisville police have a mystery on their hands. Police are trying to figure out how a man wound up dead behind Peyton Place housing projects where he lived. Someone reported to police they spotted the body around 10:30 this morning. It is identified as 30-year-old Michael Roberts. Police say they don't believe he was murdered, but they aren't sure what may have happened to Roberts. Neighbors say he had lived in a nearly deserted complex for only a short time. They were surprised to hear of his death.
He's been quiet, you know, he ain't never bothered anybody. You know, he never bothered me or anybody upstairs. You know, and around Christmas time anyway, now, you know, I don't know what to say about that.
Police must await toxicology tests to determine what the victim died from. Police say neighbors report Roberts didn't appear to drink or use drugs.
The Kentucky State Fire Marshal is investigating the cause of an early morning blaze that left 4 children dead in Middlesboro, Kentucky. The city's police say the mother of 3 of the children who died was able to rescue 2 others before having to dive out of a downstairs window to escape the intense heat. All of the children who died were apparently sleeping in upstairs bedrooms. The mother, Sherry Buckner, told police she was awakened by heat and smoke, but was only able to rescue the children who were sleeping downstairs. The home is located in a residential area of Middlesboro in eastern Kentucky. The city's fire chief said the fire apparently started upstairs. It never hurts to be reminded that your Christmas tree is in reality a fire trap. But local firefighters say that stringing lights outside can also be just as dangerous if you don't use the proper materials. This morning on Action 11's 3-hour Saturday morning news broadcast, the chief of the McMahon Fire Department warned about outdoor decorations.
Don't use indoor lights outdoors because they're designed differently, and also a lot of times folks will really go to the extent of really decorating their home outside with a lot of lights, and they don't realize they're taxing the electrical system on their home, and a lot of the homes built a long time ago don't really have the capability of putting all those lights on it on the system.
Paul Barth also recommended using a flame retardant spray on live Christmas trees before putting them inside your home, something even Fred Wishy says is a good idea.
Well, if you went anywhere near the area's shopping centers today, then you know you were not alone with the idea. Cars crammed mall parking lots and people flooded stores on the Saturday before the big day. The mad rush is on to meet the Christmas gift-giving deadline. When traffic cops greeted drivers outside Oxmoor Mall, you knew it would be a hurry-up-and-wait kind of shopping day. And you knew it was a last-minute Christmas shop thing. When inside, you noticed Victoria's Secret, a lingerie shop, was full of men.
Well, I was talking to my mom today, and she said it might not be a bad place to get a few items. Then just going to get some small stocking stuffers in there.
Shoppers were everywhere, mobbing sales clerks in this clothing store, for one. The store had extra manpower.
That's good news for us because, well, yeah, you're finished. Thank you. It's good news for us because last minute people tend to buy more, more expensive items.
Rhonda Trask used the old excuse, had a baby, so I had to wait, as the reason why she last minute shopped.
No, we didn't get it done before now because she came early, so she was born on Friday the 13th. So
kind of threw a kink in the plan.
Yeah.
Shoppers were rushing to and fro, but they have at least 2.5 more days of shopping before the man in the red suit comes to town. So some shoppers were taking it easy. Piano music mellowed the pace. Santa also diverted children's attention. But twins Brooke and Brandy needed neither music or Santa to mellow. They were oblivious to everything.
They were up late last night, out early this morning, and they've had it. I'm next.
People fret over last-minute shopping, but really, what would Christmas be without it? Surely, just once, compulsive procrastinators would like to know. Well, for you compulsive procrastinators, stores will stay open until 5 o'clock Christmas Eve.
Just ahead on Action 11 News tonight, some holiday shoppers go to malls, others visit the police. We'll tell you why.
And Christmas without the threat of war makes for a happy homecoming for this Louisville native.
There's a place in Louisiana just outside New Orleans. They call it the plantation country of Baton Rouge. Louisiana, we're really cooking. Give us a call.
We were really cooking, man, yeah.
See for yourself.
The savings are incredible, incredible, incredible.
It's your Ford dealer's year-end clearance. Hurry in because time is running.
When darkness falls, Light Up the Season is alive. Catch the holiday spirit tonight and every night through December 31st at Louisville Speedway. Presented by WHAS 11, WAMZ, and Winn-Dixie, Light Up the Season is a magical drive-through holiday extravaganza featuring 500 spectacular lights displays and over 20 animated figures, including a 50-foot Christmas tree, Santa and sleigh, prancing reindeer, toy soldiers, and more. Admission is only $5 a carload. Don't miss Light Up the Season tonight at Louisville Speedway.
The pictures and voices of 1991.
Second phase of Operation Desert Storm. The ground war has begun.
Aggression is defeated.
Wahlberg was questioned.
Opening ceremonies.
I am withdrawing.
As the remains of President Hill
has soured on Humana.
The president has been in the building
to change the law.
When you need to know, you can depend on Action 11 News, only on Kentuckiana's News Channel, WHAS 11.
Just a year ago today, not only Christmas, but war was on the minds of people in Kentuckiana. Local soldiers had either deployed or were gearing up to go to what was then Operation Desert Shield. Debbie Hottie is a flash from that past time. You'll remember her husband, a Kuwaiti, stayed behind in that country after Iraq invaded it. Hottie, a Louisville native, narrowly escaped. Today, she flew into Louisville from Kuwait, her home before the invasion, and she didn't return alone either. After 4 miscarriages in 14 years, Hottie is pregnant with her first child. She says she had to come home for the safety of her baby.
Well, the medical facilities aren't up to snuff yet. I mean, our doctors are very limited because, as you know, they've killed most of them. And who they didn't kill have run away. They didn't want any part of it. So they're lacking a lot in medical facilities. So I didn't want to take a chance. This is a precious baby.
Hottie says Kuwait has just about returned to what it was like before Iraq invaded in August of last year. We'll have more on what she says about that coming up at 11 tonight.
Some people today did their last-minute Christmas shopping in more ways than one.
I got 5 to here, 7 1/2, 7 1/2, 7 1/2. I got 5 to here, 7 1/2. What's your number, $5?
An overflow crowd crammed this auction house on South 7th Street in Louisville. More than 400 people attended the police auction, hundreds more than expected. About 700 items were up for bids, everything from tires and tools to computers and bicycles. Most of the property were stolen items police recovered this year. Bidders were either Christmas shopping or simply looking for a good deal. Also on the auction block were scales, most of which were confiscated from drug dealers, yet through the police auction, the scales will be put back on the streets. Money collected from the auction goes back into law enforcement. Donna?
Well, when Action 11 News continues, Gary Rizzo is tracking rain headed for Kentuckiana.
But dense fog may be a problem tonight. We'll have the full weather report. That's coming up next.
The shopping mall is a favorite meeting place. It's the modern-day version of the old country store. It's where we come for fitness walks, we meet our friends for lunch, and we even do a little shopping here. It's a favorite hangout for our young people, too. We all need places where we can gather and make friends and find the help we need. I'm Leila Hendricks, Minister of Students. Come see us.
Walnut Street, your community church.
Surrender to the music of the night.
The power of the music of the night.
The music of Andrew Lloyd Webber with special guest star Michael Crawford. A spectacular theatrical concert. From the most successful composer of our time, the music of Andrew Lloyd Webber with special guest star Michael Crawford.
Tickets are on sale now at the Kentucky Center box office, Ticketmaster, or charge by phone. 584-7777, a Broadway series presentation.
If you thought as much about your tires as the rest of your car, we could stop this commercial right here. But you don't. With Big O's premium tire service policy, though, your set of Big O tires will be set for life. You get free flat repairs for the life of your tires, free balancing and free rotations every 5,000 miles. Roll in for a free air pressure check and check out Big O's premium tire service policy.
A reputation you can ride on Big O tires.
The office chair. In today's workplace, it needs to be more, like sensible seating from Hahn. It's executive seating that's a technological tool, a productivity center, the comfortable way to get more done. Sensible seating. It responds to human needs.
The sensible choice from Hahn and O'Connor and Raque.
Gary Rizzo's weather has the seal of approval of the American Meteorological Society.
Well, Gary Rizzo is here, and Gary, at least it didn't rain today like I thought it would.
The rain ended early, and it was a cloudy, murky day, and now the atmosphere is drying out a little bit, but that's a technical term. It's drying out several thousand feet above the ground. Within the few first 1,000 feet above the ground, it's fairly moist. And here's what I mean. Skies are clear now. In fact, the skies cleared a few hours before sunset in Cincinnati, so they saw partly sunny skies in the afternoon. So did Indianapolis, and now, after sunset, temperatures have dropped into the low to mid-30s, and humidities are fairly high. South Bend clear at 29, while most of Kentucky and southwest Indiana still mostly cloudy. In fact, light fog is already developing in extreme south-central Kentucky, but visibilities are between 1 and 2 miles. The warm spot is Bowling Green at 43. Right now in Louisville, with cloudy skies holding, it's 39 degrees. The humidity is 76%. However, an ingredient for fog is light to calm winds. In this hour, the winds are calm. The barometer is steady at 30.41 inches. Our high today of 47 occurred at midnight. Since that time, it's been around 40 all day, and then after sunset, it dropped to 39. Rainfall saturating the lower part of the atmosphere above the ground, about 0.2 of an inch. Now, the satellite picture over the past 12 hours in motion showed that the band of clouds and rain was still in our area. That was 12 hours ago. That's since moved to the south, and you can see that it's cleared out over most of Ohio and Indiana, parts of northern Kentucky, except the mid and lower parts of the Ohio Valley. Texas is still being inundated with rain. That's the second part of the storm system. The first part gave us that rain. The second part now holding in the wings in the southern plain states. On the weather map, the cold front went through. The air is drier, but again, just above the ground, it's fairly moist, and this high-pressure system is what's going to cause the skies to clear. Tomorrow, it's going to shift over to our east, so with a slow movement, it should keep that lower atmosphere trapped. Meanwhile, the rain surges north, but to our west, so I don't think we'll see rain at all tomorrow. We'll have a tough time breaking out of the fog. This word's misspelled, so I'll cover it up. We'll see partial clearing with patchy fog and a low tonight of 33 degrees. Then for tomorrow, we will see the fog lift, skies mostly cloudy, the high temperature only 45, and for tomorrow night, mild with rain overnight, and rising temperatures up to 50 by Monday morning. But on Monday, more rain, and that rain will continue on Christmas Eve as well. But on Christmas Day, the forecast calls for partly sunny skies with temperatures in the mid-40s. It'll be wet, it won't be white, but at least it will allow safe traveling.
So what was the misspelled word, Gary?
Partial.
Partial.
I left the T out.
But what about those other words you misspelled? You
They're
didn't
all
cover those up?
correct. Maybe I did.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thanks
Gary.
a lot, Gary. That's the first I've ever seen. A Division II champ was decided here in Kentucky today. Just ahead, Gary Montgomery has game highlights and scores.
Shoney's half-a-pound dinner for $4.99 is such a deal. The only question is, should you top it off with mushrooms or onions? Well, I guess that depends on what your date looks like.
Onions?
Onions?
Lots.
Have you seen these shoes with a gizmo to make them tighter? Well, Shoney's has a gizmo to make everything you wear tighter. Shoney's hot fudge cake. Just eat it.
Hurry into Circuit City now for great last-minute savings. Save on TVs, stereos, camcorders, computers, CD players, and more. Like this GE 20-inch stereo TV with remote, just $247.97. This Panasonic compact VHS camcorder, now $597.97. And this Sanyo portable stereo, only $44.97. Rush to Circuit City now for incredible last-minute savings. Time is running out.
Welcome to Circuit City, where service is state-of-the-art.
Every second of an asthma attack can feel like an eternity. That's why there's Primatene Mist. Primatene opens clogged breathing tubes in as fast as 15 seconds. Primatene Mist, the fastest type relief known.
My hemorrhoids hurt so much, I was afraid I needed surgery. But my doctor said they weren't serious, and it's time I used Preparation H.
Preparation H helps shrink swelling of inflamed hemorrhoidal tissues and often relieves pain, itching, and burning for hours. Doctor recommended Preparation H.
Hold the end of your string up, Joey. Joey, we're never going to get this done if you keep on eating the Kix.
Kix is a cereal that's low in sugar with a corn crunch that kids like. Kix also makes a great decoration.
So, how's it look? Delicious.
Kix, kid-tested, mother-approved.
Well, they say if you can make it in New York, you can pretty much make it anywhere. And Gary's here with
He wrote a song about that, didn't he?
Yeah, it sounds sort of familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, the Hoosiers did it. Indiana Hoosiers made a holiday trip to the Big Apple. No, they didn't do any shopping. They took on the Redmen of St. John's in Madison Square Garden. Now, the Hoosiers built a 7-point halftime lead. And then Calvert Cheney started the second half, adding to that lead. He led IU today with 25 points. But the Redmen went to work early in that half. Big man Robert Wardan scores on the inside for the home team. And then St. John's leader, Malik Seeley, follows the shot right here. You're always told to do that, and here he comes in there, puts it back in. St. John's trimmed the Hoosiers' lead down to just 2 points. It was close the rest of the way. Here goes Jamal Meeks going through the lane for the hoop. The Hoosiers were able to hold off the 10th-ranked Redmen. The Hoosiers hit the all-important free throws down the stretch, and Eric Anderson stepped up and had a couple of big ones late. He had 18 points. Indiana gets the win. The final was 82-77. The Hoosiers upset St. John's. Arizona was also upset. Arkansas knocked them off some big free throws down the stretch in that one. 65-59 the final score. Oklahoma State was an easy winner, as was Kansas over Seattle Pacific. And Michigan State knocked off Cincinnati, this one by 1 point. Michigan by 17 over Rice. Missouri downed Jackson State, and Alabama was an easy winner over Southern Miss. Wake Forest beat Richmond 74-60, and Purdue a 6-point winner over Butler. Well, it's time to celebrate down in Georgetown, Kentucky, where the Tigers are holding tight to the NAIA Division II trophy. Gary Fogle has the highlights from their big win over Pacific Lutheran.
They played this one on a cold and muddy field in Georgetown. The Tigers came into this game with a record of 12-1 and had averaged 59 points per game during the regular season. They got on the scoreboard first when quarterback Dane Dameron went in from 2 yards out. Then late in the first quarter, they made it a 14-0 lead on the 68-yard bomb from Dameron to Ron Rayleigh. They led 21-7 at the half. Their other TD, also involving Dameron, going to the air to Mike Means for a 16-yard scoring toss. Dameron played this game with a hairline fracture to his throwing hand suffered in last week's win, but still directed yet another touchdown in the third period for a 28-14 lead. Pacific Lutheran cut it to 28-20 and had their chances for another score late in the game, but Georgetown held on to the 28-20 win, first ever football championship in school history.
I mean, something you work for all your life, man. I mean, from Pee Wee football, you know, I never won a championship before, and all of a sudden here it is. I mean, gosh, I wouldn't sell for $1 million. So.
What's this feeling like?
I don't know. I really can't describe it. It's the most incredible feeling I've ever had in my life.
By the way, Georgetown fell just 32 points shy of the single-season scoring record, regardless of division, classification, or association. The record is held by Harvard, which scored 765 points back in 1886. In Georgetown, Gary Fogle, Action 11 Sports.
Congratulations to Georgetown. Now with the Division I AA title up for grabs, Youngstown State and Marshall squared off. They were playing in Statesboro, Georgia. Marshall took the lead in the fourth quarter, but Youngstown State came rolling back. Watch the 34-yard touchdown strike, Isaac, to Herb Williams. State pulled within 5 points at 17-12. Now, State went for 2, but they failed on the trot. Marshall took over, but couldn't put points on the board, so Youngstown went back to the air. Isaac lost it, and a great catch by Trent Boykin puts them on the Marshall 10-yard line. A couple of plays later, Brian Wood hits pay dirt for Youngstown State. They take the lead at 18-17, and they go on to take the Division I AA title. Final score was 25-17. Remember, it was Marshall that knocked Eastern Kentucky out of the playoffs just last week. On the final weekend of the NFL, the New York Giants had no chance at the Super Bowl Derby. They were merely playing for pride as they hosted the Houston Oilers. But pride goes a long way. Giants quarterback Phil Simms connected on a Giants record 15 of 17 passes. He tossed for 1 touchdown and totaled 200 yards in this game. The Giants snapped a 3-game losing streak to end the season. They built a 24-3 lead on the Oilers. Lewis Tillman getting the touchdown right here off the broken play, but the Oilers rallied. They didn't rally enough. Let's go back to the scoreboard. We'll see the Giants win it 24-20. The Oilers now need a San Diego win tomorrow to get a first-round bye in the playoffs. Green Bay and Minnesota, they were playing just for pride as well. Green Bay wins it 27-7. Last game for Minnesota coach Jerry Burns. He's retiring. The final day of the King of the Bluegrass basketball tournament. Tipping off today's games, Hart County and Doss took to the court. The Dragons were in control in the second half. Derek Anderson goes in for the Dragon Slam. Future U of L Cardinal Tick Rogers of Hart County